Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar presented to you by Solidxperts. My name is Gabriel. I am a solution specialist here at SXP. I specialize in the implementation and support of the Cleach suite of software, as well as being on the 3DX CATIA team on the Mechanica side of the business. Today's topic is going to be all things Cleach, so SolidSteel, DSTV, logical interface, and the AluFrame Assistant. As the sole partner of Cleach in Canada and the United States, we are your ultimate resource for all things SolidSteel Parametric, DSTV Assistant, AluFrame Assistant, and the logical interface. So that being said, let's watch a little introduction video by Sebastian Cleach, the owner and CEO at Cleach in Germany.
Hello, my name is Sebastian Cleach. I'm the owner and CEO of Ingenieurgemeinschaft Cleach GmbH from Germany. We are specialized in software development, specialized in development of add-ins for SolidWorks built for your workflows. Our friends from Solidxperts asked us to make a short intro to their today's webinar about our SolidSteel Parametric and DSTV Assistant for SolidWorks. So, our tools for structural steel design and automated manufacturing. Today's webinar is about how to optimize your daily work, how to optimize your daily workflow. So from the first idea into manufacturing, and we showcase the latest developments of our tools. And you can see it, football, soccer, whatever you call it, is in all our minds. And we couldn't stop to add some football content to today's webinar, so enjoy the show.
Oh, nice kick, Sebastian. All right, so this webinar here focuses on the new release versions of SolidSteel, DSTV, Logical, and AluFrame. Before we get started, let's just go over the functionalities of each of these softwares. So if you're not familiar, let's start here. SolidSteel Parametric is a comprehensive steel structure solution within SolidWorks. So it allows you to do automated profile creation, automated connections, automated bill of materials, automated drawings, and much more. Then we have the DSTV Assistant. This is a production-focused tool that can convert your SolidWorks data directly into NC files that you can be Next, we have the DSTV Assistant. So this is a production-focused tool that converts your SolidWorks data into usable NC files that can be sent straight to the production floor. After that, we have the logical interface. So if you don't know what Logical is a standalone software made by Orgadata, and it specializes in the design and production of steel and aluminum frame windows, doors, and curtain walls. So the logical interface allows for seamless integration of that data into SolidWorks and back into Logical from SolidWorks. So it's like a handshake tool that allows for communication between the two softwares. Lastly, we have the AluFrame Assistant, which focuses on structures made from aluminum extrusions. So it's kind of similar to SolidSteel Parametric, except that it focuses on aluminum extrusions. So it can automate your profile creation and your connections, and again, much more. So in honor of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Cleach have decided to have a 26% off sale for all their products until July 19th. So if any of these solutions are of interest to you, be sure to contact us before July 19th to capitalize on this sale. Let's get started by taking a look at the updates in SolidSteel Parametric version 8.1. So a brief overview of these updates here. We'll have slides after this showing you in greater detail some updates that have been implemented. But let's start here talking about the updates to the naming of the parts. So previously, every part and subassembly within SolidSteel project were given an automated string of numbers and letters seemingly at random. But now that has been changed. It has been replaced with an indexed sequential numbering list. So every new part that you create in your SolidSteel project will have an index number in its name, being much easier to identify. There's also been a filter for invalid characters added. This fixes a bug, whereas after a certain sequence of events, specific invalid characters within SolidWorks, such as the percentage symbol, would be inserted in part names, resulting in their deletion from your SolidSteel project. So this filter for those invalid characters fixes that bug, so you no longer have that issue, which is great. Next, we're going to talk about the IFC exports available in SolidSteel. So this was introduced in version 8.0. 8.1 introduces just greater functionality in terms of the accuracy of the exported profiles, especially for unknown profiles not created directly within SolidSteel. So for example, step files that have been imported. And it also allows for different configuration options available directly in the global SolidSteel settings. Lastly, we have a new feature for fastener through holes, as well as greater functionality in terms of the task pane that we have on the right-hand side of our SolidSteel window. All right, so let's take a look at a quick video showing us the quick workflow that we can expect when using SolidSteel Parametric in SolidWorks. So in this video, we're going to complete the design of this soccer goal here, this very sturdy steel soccer goal. All we have to do is add just one last end plate. So that's what we're going to do here. Select the beam, select the face where we want our end plate to exist, and then the creation of that connection is fully automated within SolidSteel. Then we'll just need to add our netting for this goal. So in this case, it's just going to be some sketches that have been previously created. We're just going to unhide those. There you go. Our goal is now complete, so the game can begin. So next step after our assembly is complete is going to be to create our position numbers, which will automatically detect parts of equal geometry to add the quantities of those different parts. And the position numbers help us position all of our parts within our BOM in the future. So after creating our position numbers, we can create our metadata, which adds a full list of custom properties for each component within our SolidSteel assembly, again, allowing us to classify it better on the BOM. Now we're exporting our BOM. We're going to create a full BOM list with a custom header, in this case an English header. We're going to specify our export path for this bill of materials. Now once the icon get their color back, it's completed. So this was in real time, it's very quick. So here we have the Excel sheet showing us our full quantity list, our plate list, our beam list, structure list, so any welded assembly that we may have in our project, our cut list with any angles, and our full fastener list. So that's the type of BOM that SolidSteel can create for you in an automated fashion. It can also create automated drawings for you. So with the drawing assistant that will open up here, so this warning just asks us to update the position numbers. We've already done that, so we're just going to click No here. And the drawing assistant allows us to specify an action for each drawing that we can create within our assembly. So we're going to specify no action for everything, just because we want to create just 4 drawings in this case, in the case of this webinar. So we're going to create the drawing for the full assembly using a specific template. We're going to create a drawing for a welded assembly with a different template. You can see the icons on the right-hand side allow you to deactivate or activate certain views for your drawings. Then we'll finish off by creating a drawing for a plate and a beam. We're going to set an export path for all of our drawings and an order number just as a project name. So you'll see that this is in real time again. SolidSteel opens up each part, creates the drawings, adds the dimensions according to the template that you've selected for each of these drawing types. Export has finished, so we can see in the folders now that the type of component that has been that the drawing has been created from has been classified as such within different folders. So we're going to open up a beam drawing now. So you can see we have the views, we have the dimensions. It may not be fully production ready. You might, be missing some notes or details and things like that, but it definitely saves you a whole lot of time moving from the design phase to the production phase. We have another video here, so let's check it out. It focuses on the functionality added in version 8, that being the IFC export. So when using this tool, again, you can browse for a specific export path. You can choose the IFC version from this drop-down menu, and you can choose the export scope. So if you want to export the entire assembly or just specific components within that assembly. If you need to resolve lightweight components within SolidWorks, it'll prompt you to do that. It will do it for you. It'll give you a summary of everything that has been exported with the IFC. So all types of components and the quantities within. And then if we open up that IFC in a BIM viewer, you can see that the full details of our soccer goal have been translated properly. So this adds a this is a great addition for SolidSteel in terms of its export capabilities. It makes it a lot easier to collaborate with different specialties in the construction industry if you're working on a larger building construction project. Continuing on to the updates within version 8.1, we have the ability now to change the file paths for all the templates within one function. So you know that if you've previously installed SolidSteel in the past, it can be kind of annoying to change all the file paths one by one. So this functionality allows you to change the paths for all template types within just one browsing function. As well, the images on the right side show 3 different added functionality for the diagnostic window on the task pane on the right side. So the first one is the delete functionality, allowing you to delete specific components within your SolidSteel assembly directly from the diagnostic window instead of having to do it manually from the feature tree. Next is that a specific category has been added for structures within your SolidSteel assembly. So structures, for example, being stairs, just makes it easier to diagnose any errors and creates for better classifying of your different types of components within your SolidSteel assembly. And then lastly, we have a link that has been created from the task pane to the design area. So selecting an object in the task pane will now highlight that same object in your design area and vice versa. We also have the ability to customize the drilling diameters now. So before this update, we had the drop-down menu allowing us to customize the clearance for all of our fastener through holes. So those options were just simply, small, medium, or large clearance. What we can do now, you can see with the red arrow, there's a checkbox allowing us to use a customized hole sizing table. So you can then open this table up within Excel, specify the diameter for each type of fastener that you want to use to specify, either a looser or a tighter clearance fit for all those fastener types. Also, slight tweak to the end plates connection types. So now instead of only being able to use a face to place your end plate, you can use actually a reference plane as well to do that. Cleach have also added functionality for the haunch plates. There's now a toggle box allowing you to swap between the standard chamfer shown in the middle image or the alternate chamfer shown in the bottom image. So the alternate chamfer is going to have edges perpendicular to the adjacent faces. So that concludes the updates for SolidSteel. Let's take a look now at the new features within the DSTV version 6.1. So the updates for the DSTV here are more focused on ease of use and accuracy. So one thing that's not listed here is that the profile recognition has been greatly improved. So this will lead to much fewer instances of erroneous data when you export. There's also been a better feedback system integrated when exporting parts that have like common sources of inaccurate results. So, for example, lightweight U profiles made with bent sheet metal parts will now pop up a little warning, allowing you to, maybe change your design in order to use it with the DSTV Assistant. And similarly, holes that have been created overlapping a beam flange fillet, or holes that have been created using 2 half circles, will now also give you a warning allowing you to change your design to make it compatible with the DSTV Assistant. So we have a little video here giving us an overview of the quick and easy DSTV workflow to get your NC files. So with our assembly completed, I'm going to start the DSTV analysis process by using the quick start for assembly, which will analyze all the parts within my assembly and classify them according to their specific body types. So I have a category for I-beams, I'll have a category for plates, and this will also work with any imported data such as step files. So if I right click on the top level, select export all, I can then export all this data into NC format, NC or NC1 using this drop down here. You can specify the export path for this for the creation of these NC files. Then you export. Again, once the icons gain their color back, the export has been completed. So again, very quick. Now if we look in the folder, we can open any of these NC files using a text editor to see the NC code contained within. And again, we have a equal part detection in the DSTV Assistant. So if you have multiple instances of the same part, you'll get the quantities shown here in that NC data. So underneath the NC header, we have all the blocks for that NC data for the machining. We can also open it in a CAD viewer just to see the interpreted results in a visual manner. So we can see that the results are as intended. That's it. That's how quick and easy it is to use the DSTV Assistant to move from the design phase to the production phase. Now let's move on to AluFrame Assistant version 6.1. Lots of good features added in this version. So we have a customizable database path. We have customizable visual detail when working in AluFrame projects. And last but not least, we have automated drawing creation. So Cleach have added in this version a place in the AluFrame Assistant settings to customize the path of your profile database. So instead of the profile database being automatically populated in some folder on your local machine, you can now specify that database to be on a shared server. For example, if you work with multiple seats of AluFrame and you don't want to deal with having disjointed databases on multiple machines. Okay, so with version 6.0, users of AluFrame Assistant have been able to benefit from an added level of control when it comes to the level of visual detail. So we have 3 levels of visual detail that can now be shown when working in AluFrame Assistant. We have the minimal visual detail, so the image with that little 1 icon is the minimal level of detail. Then we have the simplified level of detail, that's the one with the 2, and the fully detailed visual representation, that's the one with the number 3. So we have a global setting allowing you to customize the level of visual detail for all newly created profiles in your AluFrame project. And there's also a setting in the toolbar allowing you to just modify the visual representation or the visual detail within the currently open AluFrame project. And last but not least, like I said, we have the automated creation of part drawings. So this is limited only to part drawings for now, but for sure Cleach will add more functionality to this feature and make it available for assembly drawings as well in the future. So this works very similarly to the drawing manager that we saw in the SolidSteel Parametric video. So let's move on to the logical interface software now. So for the logical interface, we have faster conversion process overall, so better performance, quicker turnaround for the conversion of data to and from the logical format. We also have greater stability for the features that have been implemented in version 2.0, which we'll look at in the next few slides. We have a pop-up letting you know of any major updates available to you when you first launch the logical interface add-in. We also have warning messages for any settings that may be missing before you start your your import process from logical to SolidWorks. There's also been an addition of a progress bar when importing or creating block templates. So most of these updates are quite minor, so we're going to focus on the updates that that Cleach have implemented in version 2.0 of the logical interface. So let's start with a little video showing us the procedure of using this logical interface plugin for SolidWorks. So as I mentioned before, Logical is a standalone piece of software focused on the design and production of steel and aluminum windows, doors, and curtain walls. So when we're done with that logical, or when we have a logical project or assembly created, we can use the logical interface app in SolidWorks to import that data within SolidWorks. So what this does is that it'll convert the machine instruction data that is created from Logical into data that is usable within SolidWorks. It's pretty much recreating the entire window project that you have from Logical into SolidWorks. So once this conversion is finished, what we can do is we can use the functionality of SolidWorks to add specific features which are not possible to be added in the Logical software. So for example, we're adding an array of holes here on this window frame. That cannot be done within Logical. So we're using the power of both Logical and SolidWorks together using this logical interface to create more intricate designs for your windows, your doors, and your curtain walls. So we're showing here the export of the data back from SolidWorks to the Logical software. So again, we're going over the additions to Logical Interface version 2.0 here, also available in version 2.1 of course. So the big update here has been automated material mapping. So all the materials specified in the Logical software project will be automatically mapped to its corresponding material within SolidWorks. If that material does not exist in the SolidWorks library, a custom one will be created automatically and put on that specific part as well. So it completely eliminates the need for manual rework of the materials for those parts, and it ensures that the material data is kept between both softwares. So in this newer version of the Logical interface, Cleach have added support for SolidWorks custom properties. So as soon as you import the project from Logical to SolidWorks, the custom properties are automatically going to be created for all the parts that are recreating the Logical profiles within SolidWorks. So the list of custom properties that you want to create is available to you in the settings for the Logical interface. There you can select which ones to include, and you can rename them as well if needed. Last but not least, Cleach has fully reworked the export UI to provide expanded functionality and much better ease of use, as well as they have implemented a help button that links you directly to the manual for the Logical interface add-in. So that concludes the material for today's webinar. If you'd like to learn more about the apps for SolidWorks by Cleach, be sure to leave us a thumbs up in the chat. We'll make sure to get back to you promptly. And as well, if you have any questions about anything you've seen in today's webinar, make sure to write those down in the chat as well. We'll answer you right after this webinar or as soon as possible thereafter if we can't answer you right now. So again, my name is Gabriel Duclos. I'm a solution specialist at SXP here. This is my contact information if you want to stay in touch with me. And be sure to scan this QR code if you want to sign up to our newsletter and follow us on the listed social media platforms below. And with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your attention and have a great afternoon.